Hello, it's Anne Marie with AM Astro, and today I wanted to look at hi, honey, um, Elon Musk and the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE. So some of you probably, because I'm like the last to every party, um, know that the Doges were appointed in Venice. They were magistrates, and let me share screen so I can. The Doge of Venice was the highest role of authority within the Republic of Venice from 697 to 1797. The word Doge derives from the Latin do, meaning leader. I thought it was two. And Venetian Italian for duke, highest official of the Republic of Venice for over 1,000 years, originally referring to any military leader, becoming in the late Roman Empire the title for a leader of an expeditionary force formed by detachments. And if we looked at that word, that's interesting too. A temporary task force created by the Roman army of the Principate. It was named from the standard carried by the legionary detachments, which bore the emblem and the name of the parent or legion. Think MAGA. From the frontier army, separate from but subject to the governor of a province, i.e., Trump, authorized to conduct operations beyond provincial boundaries. The Doge of Venice acted as both the head of state and head of the Venetian oligarchy. Doges were elected for life through a complex voting process. What? So, right? And everything that's going on right now, it's just like he knew this was like planned long ago. This Doge bullshit. When did the Dogecoin, when did he like start the Dogecoin? I don't even know the answer to that, but this is not coincidence. This is not coincidence. And so I'm sorry I'm so late to the party because I'm sure I just have not heard this connection before. And now because of everything that he's doing, I'm like looking at this and thinking, holy motherfucking God, Jesus, excuse me. And there goes all my subscribers. All of my, I maybe get 5 people to watch my videos. Hi, Earth Mama. um, anyway, so what I wanted to do is look at, so it started in 697, and so it didn't give us any date, right? So I created, like, if you don't have a date for something that you want to look at in mundane astrology, you can do the Aries ingress. If you have a year, you can do the Aries ingress for that year, and that will tell you what's going on for that country during that year. Because the Aries ingress is always like the it's like your solar return chart. It's when the sun gets back to the world point, the Aries point of a chart, and you set it for that location. Usually you set it for the capital of a country or the capital of the hegemony. But because we're specifically looking at Venice right now, I set it for Venice because that made the most sense to me. So this is the chart, and it's the horoscope, or the rising point, the ascendant is Leo, 14 degrees Leo, which actually the 15th degree of fixed signs is also a world point. So that's kind of interesting. And so that is ruled by the sun, and the sun is right here in the ninth house, which is the house of God, house of, this is the courts, the legal, the courts, the judicial branch, and then you've got the presidential branch, and then the executive branch, and then you have the congressional, or congressional branch, legislative branch. So the sun is right there in its house of joy, in the house of God. What I find interesting also, though, is that the cusp is at the 29th degree of, it's the last degree of the last sign in the zodiac. And so that is ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter is over here in the 11th house of hopes and dreams, except it's in detriment and conjunct the malefic out of sect. Mars. And Mars actually has something to say about the house of God as well here, because because Aries is intercepted in that ninth house. So this is hopes and dreams of a new form of judicial or justice. And that is exactly what has occurred in back in 697 in Venice. They were looking for a new way of governing. They did not want a monarchy. They wanted somebody that they could elect, and they elected him in some convoluted. I mean, it really is like I've watched a couple of videos on how they chose their Doge, and it was like all these different committees were appointed to appoint another committee that was appointed to appoint another committee. And then like 4 or 5 times before they got to the committee that would actually choose the Doge. And then that was just step one. And then they would have to go through these other things. And there's a number of things that are, they wanted somebody young. He couldn't be married because you didn't want him to have kids, which those two things don't match for Elon Musk. But because you didn't want him to say, and this was back in the days, like think of Italy, and all the think of The Godfather. I mean, this is long before The Godfather, but Italy's kind of known for having some shady families that like try to take power. And so you didn't want the Doge to have family relations that would then give the defense contracts to a family member. But since we didn't have any say in choosing our Doge in this situation, like we had no say. I mean, nobody did except for, I guess, Trump, except he bought his way into this Doge position. So I just wanted to look at this chart. The other thing, so this Jupiter and Mars, this is like Jupiter is expanding, but expanding badly because it's in detriment in Gemini. Expanding the violence, expanding the military, the militia, the anger, and let's just see what else. So Jupiter rules both the eighth house of other people's money, of secrecy, of things hidden, and also this ninth house of the judicial branch, and also the fifth house of creative self-expression of children and of having a good time. And then Mars is a co-ruler of this ninth house of God and of the judicial branch. And it also rules the fourth house of the home and the people, where the moon is, and the moon is in detriment. And it's in a quincunx there, which I don't really pay attention to. What else is the moon connecting to? See, okay, that's the other thing. So this moon is, so if we look at our little chart, do I go here? To see like the strength of the different planets. And so it hides the outer planets when I pull this up, because this is traditional astrology, and so we only look at the visible, but then it also has them in some of the calculations, so whatever. But if we look up here at considerations, which tells us the situation of this chart when this Aries ingress back in 697, the moon was void of course. So it's kind of funny to me because it's like nothing will come of this event, except it lasted for 1,000 freaking years. And the moon is also in the via combusta. That's that phrase that I couldn't remember in one of my other videos, which is the road of fire, which means the moon has to go through from 15 Libra to 15 Scorpio. Is like there's a lot of evil stars that it would be connected to during that phase. And so like traditionally they talk about that as the via combusta, where the moon doesn't want to be. Mostly because from 0 to 15, it's in its it's in its fall, excuse me, not detriment, but fall. But also the 15 to 0, 15 Libra to 0 Scorpio is also part of this. But then it's not making any, it's not making any aspects. So that means it's void of course. It's not connecting with any of the other planets. It's just kind of like going off on its own. So you could kind of think of that as, I'm just down here doing whatever, doing my own thing. Let's see if we have declination to see Yeah, declination. So in this chart, Mars is out of bounds, which Mars is currently out of bounds. So that's an interesting thing. The moon is not out of bounds. I was looking to see if the moon was, but it's not. But Mars is out of bounds. So that just means that they could just go off and do their own thing. Like Mars is going to do his own thing. He's going to do what he wants to do. He's not going to be he's not going to do what he's expected to do. And because they're both in Gemini, Jupiter and Mars are conjunct in Gemini, you just think like this is just like talking. This is just talking. We're going to make a way that works for us regarding other people's money and the law and the courts and the religion. And we're just going to make it all about what we want because we're the oligarchs and we're the aristocracy. And we're going to just appoint our guy and put him in there and let him run the show. So this is just messed up. But then wait, there's more. If we look at a biwheel with that Aries ingress, and then I want to look at Donald Trump's inauguration because that's kind of like, okay, this is when it's all going into play. So I've got the Doge Aries ingress here in the inside, and then I have Donald Trump's inauguration on the outside. So there's, maybe it shows up more if I flip it. Let me see. Well, we've got the Jupiter return coming up here to this, which because Jupiter rules this 8th house of other people's money, secrets, things done to benefit the opposition. Let's swap them out and see. So now I've got the inauguration on the inside, and now I've got the Doge Aries ingress on the outside. And yeah, and so the sun, that's right. This is what the main thing that I want. Okay, I'm going to swap it back just because that should be this way, but I didn't see it in this one for whatever reason. So the sun is on the south node. In the inauguration chart, sun is on the south node of this ancient Doge thing, Aries ingress. And the sun of the ancient Doge thing is on the north node for the inauguration. So that is some sort of karmic bullshit because they're both in, well, this is in the 9th house. Again, like I said, that's the house of the sun is in its joy there. And the north node amplifies things. So think of this, the inauguration day, the north node is amplifying the identity of this Doge because it's the sun and it's amplifying it. But then over here, this is the sun for the inauguration and the south node is draining it. So it's kind of like draining who was being inaugurated, Trump. Well, so the south node of this Doge is draining the identity of Trump and giving it to the Doge, to Elon Musk, with Pluto there too. So it's draining the power of the president. Wow. You can also see that the ascendant for the inauguration is in a square to the ascendant of, so there's a lot of energetic connections here. That being the main one though, the north node sun, south node sun. And there's other things too, the Jupiter return, and Jupiter is what's ruling the 9th house and the 8th house of secrets, and also the 5th house of creative self-expression and children. Anyway, so there's definite connections energetically when the planets are talking to each other, when they have vision, when they see each other through angles. There is definitely energetic connections, especially with this nodal stuff with the sun, to the original Doge assignment. If we look at the first Doge and say, let's just look at Elon Musk. So now the Doge is on the inside and Elon Musk's chart is on the outside. So we can immediately see chaos in the way he thinks, his little tech mind. They're conjunct the Uranus, Mercury. His Venus is lined up with this Jupiter, Mars, trying to create all sorts of trouble. Here's where the Neptune was on his Mars. So it's like, yeah, and if I swap it, it goes to yeah. This is what I was thinking of is the well, and then the sun on Pluto. Ugh. But so now Elon Musk is on the inside, and then the Doge chart is on the outside, and so relating to Elon, right? So the houses are now lined up for Elon. So the Doge Aries ingress is conjunct his Mars. So it's like he's bringing this martial confusion, like this. I'm going to just confuse. I'm going to start taking over. I'm going to do what I want. I wonder if his Mars is out of bounds too. Have we ever looked at that? Anyway, and his south node is on the ascendant of the Doge chart. What else? Anybody see the Pluto sun in the 12th house of, again, behind the scenes, doing things behind the scenes without the light of day. Mercury and Uranus, just chaos. The ascendant in the south node means this is what he's been moving toward, or this is like he brought this plan in from a previous lifetime. And then his moon is opposing this Venus Mercury conjunction of the Doge. So it's kind of like the values and then we have to swap back to see what those things really mean. Okay, so now we're looking at it here. So this is again the other people's money, the secrets, the behind the scenes, the other people's money, and his moon is opposing it. So it's across the second eighth axis, which is the axis of finances. It's like my money, your money. And he's connecting in and grabbing it and taking it with him. God dang it, he sure is. And the south node, his south node is, see, like I said, right on the ascendant of the first Doge event. That Mars and Neptune. His midheaven is right up here at the midheaven of the Doge Aries ingress. Quickly, we will look at, no, I don't need to, I wanted to view a biwheel. So let's look at with Donald Trump's chart just to see what it's doing here. So I really don't see as much looking at Donald Trump. This definitely seems like an Elon Musk thing and not so much a Trump thing. If we swap it, let's see what it does. Yeah, so that's his Mars. His is on the inside now. And 12 Scorpio doesn't do anything. Squares his Pluto. So the moon of the Doge chart squares his Pluto. Yeah, there's just not as much energy connecting Donald Trump's chart to the Doge chart, but there's a lot hitting Musk. Let's look at one other thing. Let's look at it with last year's Aries ingress. Because, oh my God, and look at that. Because this Aries ingress for last year, for 2024, was still in effect when the inauguration occurred, right? So, wow, look at this connection with the moon. And the moon is the people. So the Doge chart is on the inside, and then the Aries ingress for 2024 is on the outside. And so we've got this, the moon of the Doge chart is conjunct the ascendant of the Aries ingress for 2024. Pluto is on the south node. The moon, so the Pluto moon opposition of the last of the 2024 Aries ingress is on the nodal axis of the Doge chart. And then the nodal axis for the Aries ingress of 2024 with the North Node conjunct Mercury is squaring that Uranus. What else do we see? That's pretty significant. Pluto on the south node, moon on the north node, ascendant on the moon. Okay, well, I think that's all I want to look at today. I don't know if you saw in my list, I have the Ides of March eclipse that's coming up, 14th of March, that is literally square, making a T-square, a grand cross to Trump's eclipse, sun and moon, nodal axis. So Ides of March means, I don't know, somebody could get stabbed, backstabbed, metaphorically, and we will see. But stay tuned for that. Let me know what you think about this Doge thing. Am I like the last one to the Doge party? I mean, I just didn't know. So I'm just blown away with all of this and just think that, oh my God, will we have a country left when we get rid of this guy? Oh, so anyway, thanks for watching and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.